On April 24th, 2026, the Aminese citizen, Tradiko Hopala, he flew up his drone, not knowing that he would capture the most terrifying moment in his country's history. Since his drone was waterproof and an area of the concrete base plate area, it was starting to rain. He flew over to an area where it was just about to rain. It started to rain, and soon that rain started moving. The citizen thought it was normal for it to rain like this, as he had flew his drone through rain many times before. But yet, far away, all the way at the Holaka Tracking Center, they did not think this was any normal rain, and they set out a flood watch. Now, going back, water spilled everywhere, dashing across the base. The flood had officially begun. Water was gushing everywhere. At this point, the citizen knew that he had to capture this for natural disaster records. So he lifted up his camera a tiny bit to get a better view. Over here, the water started intensifying in this area. But when he noticed that a little bit of water was heading for the town of Herlaka and Chinsa and Folin and Tanya, he immediately messaged the Natural Disaster Center, and they set out a flood warning. But they already set out a flood warning for almost the entire concrete base plate region just 3 seconds after the flood started, because they already had the button ready for pressing. At this point, the water heading to these towns stopped, but water started heading into the grassy fields of grass Pathada Park. As the Natural Disaster Center was quickly notified by this of the citizens, that they quickly realized both the water had stopped, though this was only wave 1 of the flood. Just 32 minutes later, the citizen was still inspecting the damage when wave 2 struck, sending waters directly towards Pathada Park and many cities in the premises. Water started moving racely towards the citizens' town and all its suburbs. The water only hit the town's suburbs, but was heading very fast towards the town. At this point, water had reached all over the edges of the Pathada Park. The affected regions of wave 2 were way more intense than the affected regions of wave 1. Mud started dashing all over as it covered towns and cities. By this point, many houses and citizens were devastated. Estimated around 800 at this point. But the Aminese Empire had a low population of almost 11,000. At this point, water stopped heading into the suburbs, and instead rested around this part of the Pathada region. This was the end of the flood. It lasted around 42 minutes, and the citizen kept his drone up at all times. 523 didn't make it. 65 were missing. 327 injured, and 285 survivors that weren't injured in the entire premises. Now let me show you the premises of the flood. It covered almost 1/3 of the concrete base plate area. Anyways, that's it. That's you for Aminese News. Bye.